What if Season 3 of The Summer I Turned Pretty doesn't give us the happy ending we've all been waiting for? What if Belly's final choice leaves fans broken instead of satisfied? The big question now is whether Episode 10 is leading us toward closure, or if it's opening the door to something even bigger, maybe even a Season 4. Let's dive deep into the secrets, heartbreaks, and possibilities that the final episodes might be hiding. The story of The Summer I Turned Pretty has always been about more than just a love triangle. It's about growing up, facing heartbreak, and learning how love and family can change everything. But as we move into Episode 10 of Season 3, the tension has never been higher. Belly stands at a crossroads, and every fan knows her choice will not only define her own future but also the future of Conrad and Jeremiah. This is not just another episode, it could be the end of everything. Conrad's emotional breakdown on the beach has already shaken viewers. It was raw, vulnerable, and gave us a glimpse of the pain he's been carrying for years. For once, Conrad wasn't the untouchable, mysterious boy who kept pushing people away. Instead, he was fragile, scared, and desperately in need of connection. Steven trying to comfort him showed us something unexpected. The brotherhood between these two characters has the power to heal old wounds. But what does this mean for Belly? Does she finally see Conrad as someone she can love openly, or does she recognize that his struggles might always pull her into chaos? Jeremiah, on the other hand, has been the consistent one, the boy who never gave up on Belly, even when she ran from him, even when her heart was split in two. But as Season 3 unfolds, we start to see Jeremiah's patience wear thin. His decision to distance himself isn't just about heartbreak, it's about self-respect. He's tired of being the second choice, the safety net. And that shift changes everything, because for the first time, Belly might lose him for good. Is Jeremiah finally realizing that loving Belly has cost him his peace? Or is this just another obstacle that will eventually push him back into her arms? The Paris storyline adds even more complications. Belly's decision to leave, only to be forced back because of her visa and language struggles, felt like a cruel twist of fate. Fans have debated endlessly about whether that subplot even made sense. Some argue it was pointless, others say it was essential to show Belly's desperation to escape. But here's the real question, did Paris prove that Belly was running away from love, or was she running toward her own independence? Conrad saw her return as a sign of hope. Jeremiah saw it as a betrayal. Belly herself? She still doesn't know. Episode 10 promises to put all of this under the microscope. And the more we look, the more it feels like the love triangle has reached its breaking point. There's no room left for indecision. One of these boys will be left behind, and the heartbreak is guaranteed. But will Belly's choice give us closure, or will it spark more division? Fans have already taken sides, and the debate has never been more intense. Team Conrad argues that true love takes time and patience, that Belly's heart always belonged to him, even if he didn't realize it at first. Team Jeremiah insists that love should never make you feel small or unwanted, that Jeremiah's devotion proves he is the one Belly truly deserves. But here's where the suspense grows. What if Episode 10 doesn't give us a clear answer at all? What if Belly doesn't choose anyone? That would be the boldest, most shocking twist of all. Instead of love, the story might end on self-discovery, with Belly finally deciding that she doesn't need to define herself by either boy. Imagine the uproar if that happens. Fans who have fought for years over Team Conrad versus Team Jeremiah might be united in anger, or in admiration, depending on how the writers play it out. This leads us to the biggest mystery. Is this really the end? Season 3 has been announced as the final season, but the way the story has been told leaves so many open doors. There are unresolved friendships, broken family dynamics, and of course, the biggest question of all, who will Belly end up with? If Episode 10 doesn't answer this, then Season 4 feels almost necessary. The writers may be teasing us, testing us, seeing how much fans demand another season. And if history has taught us anything, it's that passionate fan campaigns can change the future of a show. Episode 10 isn't just another chapter. It's the make or break moment. Will Belly's decision satisfy the years of waiting, or will it tear apart the very heart of the story? And more importantly, will it give fans the closure they deserve, or leave them begging for season 4? The suspense is building, and no one knows for sure. But one thing is certain, whatever happens, the summer I turned pretty will never be the same again. When we take a closer look at the build-up toward episode 10, one thing becomes clear: season 3 has been a roller coaster of emotions, but it hasn't given us enough stability. Every time Belly takes one step forward, something pulls her 2 steps back. And that's exactly why fans are torn apart. They want her to finally find peace, but the story keeps twisting, leaving us confused, hopeful, and frustrated all at once. Think about Belly's character for a moment. From season 1 until now, she has always been searching for love, for acceptance, for her place in the world. She was the girl who dreamed of being noticed, the one who wanted summer to change everything. And in many ways, it did. But in season 3, her indecision has started to feel heavy. Her emotions are tangled between Conrad and Jeremiah, and it's not just a matter of choosing one boy over the other, it's about what kind of future she wants for herself. Conrad represents comfort and history. He's the first love, the one she always believed she was destined for. Every stolen glance, every moment of vulnerability between them reminds us of why Belly fell for him in the first place. But the pain he caused cannot be erased. His silence, his distance, his inability to fight for her when it mattered most, those scars still exist. And yet, despite all of that, Belly's heart continues to pull toward him. That's the tragedy of first love, it holds a power that reason can't always overcome. Jeremiah, on the other hand, represents possibility and hope. He's the boy who was always there when Conrad wasn't, the one who picked her up when she fell, the one who made her feel chosen. Fans who root for Jeremiah argue that he offers Belly the kind of love that's stable and unconditional. But even his patience has limits. Season 3 shows us cracks in Jeremiah's armor. He's no longer content to wait in the shadows. His decision to distance himself is not just about letting go of Belly, it's about reclaiming his own worth. And that's a powerful transformation. Episode 10 could be the moment when Belly sees this clearly. If Jeremiah truly steps back, Belly will have to ask herself, does she love him enough to fight for him, or has her heart already chosen Conrad, no matter the pain? That decision will not only determine her future but will also test her maturity. Because choosing love isn't just about following passion, it's about choosing the person who makes you stronger. The Paris storyline only adds more layers to this conflict. When Belly ran away, she wasn't just leaving the boys behind, she was running from herself. Fans were divided on this twist, but at its core, it showed how unprepared she was to face the weight of her choices. Her return, forced or not, reignited Conrad's hope. But for Jeremiah, it felt like betrayal. Episode 10 might finally address whether Paris was simply a mistake, or whether it was Belly's subconscious telling her she needs time alone before she can truly love anyone. But here's where the suspense deepens: what if episode 10 doesn't give us the happy ending at all? What if it's heartbreak that defines the finale? Imagine Conrad watching Belly walk away for the last time. Imagine Jeremiah finally letting go, choosing himself instead of chasing her. That kind of ending would be devastating, but also brutally honest. After all, not every story ends with love, sometimes it ends with lessons. And maybe that's the path the writers are willing to take. Still, there's another possibility, one that fans are quietly whispering about. What if episode 10 sets up something bigger? The writers could leave us on a cliffhanger, with Belly's choice unresolved, opening the door to a season 4. Even though it has been confirmed that season 3 is the final season, television history has shown us that nothing is final if the demand is strong enough. Look at other shows where passionate fans revived stories thought to be over. Could The Summer I Turned Pretty be next? If there is no season 4, episode 10 has a heavy responsibility. It must tie up years of emotional investment in a way that feels satisfying. But so far, season 3 hasn't convinced fans it can deliver that. Too many storylines feel unfinished. Too many emotions feel raw. That's why the stakes are higher than ever. Episode 10 could either redeem the season or confirm fans' deepest fear, that the story ended before it was truly ready. In the end, the biggest question still remains, does Belly deserve to end up with Conrad, Jeremiah, or no one at all? And beyond that, do we, the fans, deserve more than what Season 3 has given us? If Episode 10 doesn't bring answers, then maybe, just maybe, the writers are leaving the door cracked open, waiting to see if the fans demand more. One thing is certain, as we move into Episode 10, the suspense is unbearable. Hearts are on the line, futures are at stake, and the ending could change everything. As we head into Episode 10, one thing becomes undeniable: the story is no longer just about summer love. It's about how heartbreak reshapes people, how choices echo far beyond the moment they are made, and how growing up means letting go of the illusions we once clung to. Belly, Conrad, and Jeremiah are no longer teenagers caught in a playful triangle. They are young adults staring down the weight of consequences, and this shift changes everything. Think about Belly's journey so far. She was once the girl who thought love was simple, who dreamed of summer nights filled with fireworks and first kisses. But Season 3 has stripped away those illusions piece by piece. The beach that once symbolized freedom has become the backdrop of Conrad's breakdown. The boy she thought she could always count on, Jeremiah, is suddenly slipping away from her. And Paris, the city of love where Belly hoped to escape, ended up being a harsh reminder that running away doesn't erase pain. These experiences are forcing Belly to grow up, but the question is, has she grown enough to make the hardest choice of her life? Conrad's character arc in Season 3 is both heartbreaking and frustrating. We see him finally drop his guard, finally let people in, and yet his timing is always off. His love for Belly has never been in doubt, but his silence and hesitation created years of distance. Now, as Episode 10 approaches, Conrad's vulnerability could either redeem him or doom him. Will Belly see his breakdown as a sign that he is ready to change, ready to love her openly and fully? Or will she see it as proof that his struggles will always pull them into a cycle of heartbreak? For Conrad, Episode 10 might be the moment he either wins her forever or loses her completely. Jeremiah's transformation is equally important. He has always been the boy who smiled through the pain, who carried hope even when Belly overlooked him. But Season 3 shows us a new Jeremiah, one who values himself enough to walk away. This change is powerful because it forces Belly to question everything she thought she knew about him. For the first time, Jeremiah isn't waiting for her to choose. He's choosing himself. That shift flips the triangle upside down. What if the real twist in Episode 10 isn't who Belly chooses, but whether Jeremiah decides she's even worth choosing anymore? Fans are deeply divided. Team Conrad insists that first love deserves a second chance, that Belly's heart will never be complete without him. Team Jeremiah argues that true love is about showing up every day, and Jeremiah has always been the one to do that. But there's a third group of fans growing louder with every episode, the ones who believe Belly shouldn't end up with either of them. And honestly, that possibility has never felt stronger. What if Belly's story is about realizing she doesn't need to define herself by the Fisher Boys at all? Episode 10 could be the bold moment where she finally steps out of their shadow and chooses herself. But if that's the case, where does the story go from there? Would fans accept a finale without romance? Or would the backlash be so intense that it forces the creators to reconsider and bring the show back for a Season 4? Because make no mistake, if Episode 10 ends without resolution, fans will demand more. Social media campaigns, petitions, endless debates, these have brought shows back before. And The Summer I Turned Pretty already has the passionate fanbase to make it happen. Let's also not forget the supporting characters who have been quietly shaping the story. Steven has emerged as an unexpected emotional anchor, proving that friendship and brotherhood can heal wounds that romance can't. His bond with Conrad shows us a softer side of both characters, reminding fans that love isn't only about romance, it's about family. Taylor, too, has brought a grounded voice to Belly's chaotic choices, showing her that friendship can be just as defining as romance. These dynamics may not grab the headlines, but they add layers to episode 10. Will they step in as voices of reason? Or will they be swept up in the storm of Belly's decision? The Paris storyline still lingers in the background, casting a shadow over Belly's return. Some fans call it wasted potential, others call it a necessary detour. But one thing is clear, it changed the way Conrad and Jeremiah see her. For Conrad, it reignited hope. For Jeremiah, it confirmed his fear of always being second. Belly's time in Paris may have been brief, but its consequences are permanent. Episode 10 will have to address this head-on, because without it, her return feels unfinished. As we prepare for the finale, the suspense is suffocating. Will Belly choose love, or will she choose herself? Will Conrad finally step up, or will his struggles push her away? Will Jeremiah hold on, or will he walk away forever? And beyond all of that, will episode 10 close the book, or will it leave us begging for season 4? The answers are almost here, but the uncertainty is what keeps us hooked. Episode 10 could be the ending we've been waiting for, or the heartbreak that changes everything. As we reach the final stretch of season 3, episode 10 is shaping up to be the most emotional and divisive episode yet. Fans have waited years for Belly's choice, but the truth is that no matter what happens, not everyone will be satisfied. That's the danger of a story built on a love triangle. Half the audience is destined to be heartbroken. And that heartbreak could either become the final note of the summer I turned pretty, or the beginning of a whole new chapter. If Belly chooses Conrad, the story could close with the idea of enduring love, the kind that survives mistakes, distance, and heartbreak. Fans of Conrad would argue that their bond has always been special, that even through the silence and pain, Belly's heart never really let him go. A finale where Conrad finally confesses openly, fights for her, and refuses to let her slip away could give Team Conrad the ending they've been waiting for since season 1. But it also risks angering fans who believe he hurt her too many times to deserve her love. Could the writers really give Conrad redemption in a single episode? If Belly chooses Jeremiah, the ending would be about loyalty and constancy, the love that shows up day after day, no matter what. Jeremiah's supporters would cheer for a finale that rewards his devotion, his patience, and his willingness to love her without conditions. But others would argue that Belly's heart never beat for him the way it did for Conrad, that choosing Jeremiah would feel more like safety than passion. Would fans accept a safe ending, or would they call it a betrayal of the love story they believed the show was building all along? And then there's the third possibility, the one that has been quietly growing in the background. What if Belly doesn't choose either of them? What if the finale ends not with a kiss, but with independence? This would be the boldest twist of all. After years of watching Belly's identity revolve around Conrad and Jeremiah, ending the story with her choosing herself could turn the entire narrative on its head. It would break hearts, yes, but it might also feel like the most honest ending. After all, growing up often means realizing that love doesn't always come the way we dreamed it would. Could episode 10 really end with Belly walking away from both brothers? It's risky, but it would leave fans talking for years. But here's the bigger question, if Belly doesn't choose in episode 10, how can this possibly be the end? Season 3 has already left fans feeling unsatisfied with rushed storylines, confusing choices, and emotional gaps. Episode 10 has the impossible job of fixing all of that in a single hour. Can it truly deliver? Or will it leave threads dangling, creating a desperate need for more? That's why so many fans are convinced that a season 4 is not just possible, but necessary. Television has a history of final seasons that weren't really final. If enough fans speak up, if enough people demand more, networks listen. The Summer I Turned Pretty has one of the most passionate audiences out there, and episode 10 could be the spark that lights the fire. If the finale ends on a cliffhanger, fans will flood social media, begging for more. If it ends with heartbreak, fans will demand closure. Either way, the story doesn't feel ready to end here. And maybe the writers know that. Maybe episode 10 is secretly designed to test how much we really want a season 4. Still, if this truly is the end, then episode 10 must deliver one final message. Whether Belly ends up with Conrad and Jeremiah, or no one at all, the finale has to remind us why we fell in love with the story in the first place. The summers, the laughter, the pain, the growth, all of it has been about the journey from childhood to adulthood, from dreaming about love to living with its consequences. That is the real heart of the summer I turned pretty. So, will episode 10 give us a happy ending, or will it break our hearts? Will it close the book, or leave it wide open for more? The suspense is unbearable, and that's exactly why fans are counting down every moment until it airs. Because no matter what happens, episode 10 will change everything. Now, the question is, are you ready for the ending? Or are you still hoping, deep down, that this isn't the end at all?